Oh, invite people. Here we go. That's what we want. There you go. Okay, I'm going to leave this one here so we're not... Okay, X out of that. Okay, so hey, there's Jake.
What's going on?
We can't see me yet.
No, you are in fact the league logo.
All right.
Yeah.
But you can hear me, though.
Oh,
here we go. All right. So it looks like it's just going to switch between whoever's talking, which is fine.
Yep, that makes sense.
Sounds fair.
Okay. I think I can lock it, like, on specific people.
Yep. Hey, that's me.
Yep. Yeah, so I can... Oh, Jake hit himself. Okay. Yeah, what's nice, so I can select specific people to be presented and whatnot. So
Cool.
Stop presenting, and then I think it'll go based off of whoever's talking loudest now at this point. And then I think once it's done, it just kind of uploads to YouTube.
Yep.
Sweet deal.
Raw and I like it.
Yeah, just gotta be careful about what you...
Any of Ben's nonsense.
What's that?
Can't filter out any of Ben's nonsense.
That's
all gonna be there.
It will, and
that's good.
I think that's for the best. We need to have some relief of some sort, which is good.
Absolutely.
Sweet deal. Well, I guess I didn't really plan anything for tonight besides just making sure everything worked. But if we want to do a test run through of events and things, we might as well. I've always got things I can talk about, so
that's something Ben is never at a shortage of.
You don't say.
Right. Let's go over this week's matchups. Since we have us three already here, and might as well take advantage of that time. So let me go ahead and just pull up my power rankings that we had. I need to use my wife's computer because mine is slow, and she's got a nice Apple computer.
That's a good call.
Okay, so first matchup of the week is myself and Elijah. He's currently 5-4. I'm 6-3. At the moment, he traded away 14 points this week, picking up Philip Lindsay, sending out Juju Smith-Schuster, and Antonio Brown just got me a touchdown. So with the Thursday night game, I'm currently leading at the moment, which makes me happy. Well, I don't know. What are your guys' projections as of halfway through the first game of the night? Oh, he's actually 5 points behind me at the moment.
Yeah, you've got. I think that you're sitting in a good position here this week, as you talked about in your power ranking. I think that especially with him moving Juju and who's the other guy he traded away? He moved off of
Kyle Rudolph.
That's right. He got rid of Rudolph and picked up Jimmy Graham. Yeah. I think that Elijah's wide receivers are just in such a rough position. Tyler Boyd's hopefully going to have a nice day, but Andy Dalton's never really been able to prove that he can throw to anyone other than A.J. Green consistently. And so I think that's just a little bit of a question mark until we actually see him do it. And And I think Brady's in for a big day this week, going against a Tennessee who came off kind of a cupcake type game against the Cowboys. I think that Brady's going to come through and have a big one. So I think you've got this one in hand already, and you're only halfway through the first game. But I'd put my money on you this week.
I agree. I think the biggest concern with Boyd is that he's never had to be the number one. You know, is he going to stay in the slot, or is he going to shift outside? You know, is he going to go against those number one corners that he is not used to battling, or are they going to, you know, put Josh Malone and John Ross? You know, is he back? Is he healthy enough to play? You know, if Boyd is going against Lattimore, I don't know that he does much. If he's in the slot against PJ Williams, you know, he could be in for a huge day. But I think that top to bottom, Ben, your roster is better. You really shouldn't have a problem with this one.
Why does my thing keep? Do you guys just see the logo for me?
Yeah, I think that I think your camera just turned off. Oh, no, you're back now, though.
I think it has to do with my crappy little headset I'm using. How about now? Is that better?
Nope. I had no video of you.
Turn camera on. There we go. No, now it's gone. That's weird. Oh, well, that doesn't matter so much. Yeah, I mean, like, as of right now, I like my odds against Elijah. The only thing that scares me, like I said, is his triplets and his running back situation. I mean, when you've got a guy like Dion Lewis, James White, and Tariq Cohen, you know, you're going to look anywhere between probably at least, you know, a floor of 10 points on average between the three to upwards of 20. You know, it just really depends. James White's currently the sixth best running back in the league, and that's due to the heavy pass game that he's had now. Sonny Michel is coming back, which should Dion Lewis's touches a little, or not Lewis's, but James White's touches a little bit. But I think that, I don't know, just between the three, if it becomes a passing game, Cohen's, you know, could easily get 30 points if he gets the touchdowns. James White, same situation. Tennessee sucks, so I'm not too scared of Lewis, but I don't know. I'm really high on Cohen in the league that Jake runs, just because, one, there's return yards, but he doesn't do too much of that. But I don't know. Kind of a matchup. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I don't think this matchup with Detroit sets up as a Cohen game. I think if there's a Howard game, this is the week for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be cold. It's going to be, you know, Matt Stafford just took 10 sacks last week, and he's got a healthy Khalil Mack coming at him. I mean, he might take 10 more. Like, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. This sets up more to grind out the clock with the Jordan Howard than it does to get Cohen going, in my mind.
I think since we're talking a little bit about Elijah's team, I think we should talk about what we think of the trades that he made today. They're just a couple hours old as he moved off of, as we said, Juju and Kyle Rudolph, and picked up, was it Philip Lindsay, a couple of picks, and Jimmy Graham, I think, is what we got. So as a guy who is, what is he sitting at 5-4, 6-3 right now?
He's currently 5-4.
5-4, overproducing a little bit, but moved off of a pretty good wide receiver, and picked up some picks. What do you guys think of the trades for either, you know, looking at it right now and then long term of where Elijah put himself after today, and then by extension Zach and Adam of who they acquired today as well?
I feel like Adam is setting up to make a run. I mean, I don't know that he's got enough time left, but his team is starting to round out.
Adam, so I did a whole week 10, 11, 12, 13 prediction between Adam, Alex, Jared, Monty, and Zach, kind of the 5 guys that I viewed who are at the bottom of the league right now. I mean, Adam, he has to win out to even get to 5 and 8. 5 and 8. I don't even think even if Adam gets to 5 and 8, he's not going to make playoffs. He can win out, but he's not going to do it. Reason being is there's too many guys ahead of him right now. Alex looks like he's going to lose to Adam this week, which will keep Alex at 4 and 6. But is there a chance that he beats me, Jason, or yourself? Not really. So I'm predicting Alex. He could probably finish 4 and 9. But Jared, on the other hand, I mean, currently he's sitting at what is he, 2 and 7 at this moment. I think he beats Monty. I think he's a coin flip against Phil. I think he can beat Zach pretty handedly, and then I think he'll lose to Jared or to Jude, which would also put him in that 4 and 9 category along with Alex. But I don't know. I think Monty beats Jared. I think he beats Adam, and I think he could probably beat Max, which would put him, I don't know, I think that's the 5 and 8 category, and I think he wins by points. But I don't know. It's really a toss-up between any of those 5 to get that final spot in playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Adam might play spoiler this year. I think he might have a chance of keeping someone out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think more than anything, I think he's setting himself up. I mean, I was looking today at his team, looking back at like week 2 of who he was starting and rolling out there. Like he had Kenyon Drake and Peyton Barber, Demarius Thomas, and Nelson Aguilar at his wide receiver and running back positions. And now he's rolling out Fournette and James Conner, and he's got Darius Geis waiting in the background. And now he's picked up. He's got Cooks, he's got Juju, he's got Amari Cooper. Like next year, he is in a position where like he's I think looking at a guy who is in the top 4 of this league in terms of talent in that roster. Like he's got it, especially with the way Connor's playing. It looks like Bell is for sure out of there, and they're locked into keeping Connor around. Like he could have 2 top 10 running backs, and that's a team that would scare me going forward. So he's done a great job of turning that team around this year. So that's a good job for Adam.
And I can tell you he's not done. I mean, I don't think you guys know that better than I do, being in the league longer than I have. But I know he was hitting me up for Matt Ryan earlier today. He's still looking for more.
He's that guy that says he's done trading, but once he gets a sniff at, hey, I might be able to make playoffs, I was chatting with him today. Let me speak from the horse's mouth here. Adam said, any trades I make from now on are going to be ancillary trades, which means support. I had to ask him what that means because I had no idea what the word ancillary meant. It's a smart person word. I have no idea. But yeah, I think he's definitely building really well for the future, and he's building for right now too. Like I said, if he wins out, he's got a chance at playoffs. Just because he has to face Monty, he faces Alex this week. So if he can take a win from Monty, that could kick him out of playoff contention. Monty has to face Jared and Adam. That could help him. That could hurt him. A lot of different things going on right now in the last few weeks. So but let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. So we got what I think is going to be one of the biggest matchups. Second biggest, I think. Jude and Jason. Jude's currently sitting at 7-2. Jason's sitting at 8-1. And Jason is currently 50 points ahead of Jude. So as long as Jude doesn't beat Jason by 51 points, Jason's still going to be the number 1 seed at the moment. But I know Jude's going to be doing anything and everything he can because of last year. Now, Jake, you weren't around for this, but I beat Jude by like 0.3 or 0.7 points because of the 1 point home team advantage that the highest seed gets.
You still have that.
Huh? Yes, we still have that.
I think we did away with that like 8 years ago.
I think it's a wonderful thing to keep in, not only because it helped me win last year, but also because
you would.
Well, yeah, of course. But I mean, you work so hard in the regular season. You know, second, third place to fourth place. Regular season finishers, they don't get any sort of payouts. Number one seed, they get $25. But I also think that instead of people just trying to slide into playoffs, like, okay, I know I'm going to make playoffs. It's fine getting the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th seed, whatever. I think getting that 1 point advantage does make a difference, especially because of last year, seeing that, hey, this came into effect. I mean, I don't know why anybody else wouldn't want to get, that number one seed and do what they can, not just for the $25, but that 1 point that can make or break a playoff run.
Yep. Yep. I'm not going to argue with you. It's your prerogative, man.
You run your own league.
Tonight, you can have an extra point.
It does.
Good, because you're struggling with sleep now anyway.
I am. Oh my gosh. Quick rabbit trail. First 6 days and trying to sleep or like trying to know what day it is didn't happen. It was so bad, like trying to figure out like the only way I could retain what day it was. I'm like, okay, is football on tonight? No. Okay, that means it's either a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Friday. But was football on last night? No. Okay, that must mean that it's a Wednesday. Is Survivor on tonight? Yes, Survivor's on. Yes, it is a Wednesday. Or was football on last night? Yes. Is it on tonight? No. Okay, then it's definitely, a Friday or a Monday or a Tuesday or something. But it was terrible. Anywho, so back to it. What did I have?
Talk to me in 6 years, Ben. Talk to me in 6 years.
Sad thing is it won't get any better for you.
No, I still don't sleep. I haven't slept a full night in 6 years.
Jeez. Are you guys done with 3 or?
God, yes. Yes.
Do you hop yourself up on the table after Kirby pushed out the third and said, "Doc, get it done," or?
No, if I had a buddy up here, then I'll get back to talking about this, but I had a buddy up here that wanted to have a group of guys get that procedure done in March last year and then meet up at his cabin and watch March Madness.
Yeah.
I told him that if I told Kirby that I was going to not only permanently deprive her of having any more kids, but then not only that, but go spend a week watching basketball, she'd have made it so I didn't need the procedure. She'd have just taken care of it for me.
Right.
So no.
I like the idea though. That's funny.
I mean, it sounded fun, but
yeah. But
anyway, this matchup, Jude and Jason, this is going to be a fun one.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Looking at just the player spread, I mean, currently, McCaffrey's got 25.8 points. DJ Moore's got 4.5 points on Thursday Night Football. Jason is still projected to win by 2 points. So I think this is going to be a high-scoring week. I know Arizona's got, a good defense as far as, ESPN stats go or rankings. But let's be honest, Arizona's a complete trash can of a team this year, both offensively and defensively. I think Mahomes can get 3 or 4 touchdowns on them. Odds of those touchdowns going to Tyreek Hill or Kelsey, very high. Why he started DJ Moore over Watkins, I don't know.
Didn't
Same
pick up?
Yeah, he's hurt
injured,
this week.
Is he hurt this week? Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's expected not to play.
Got it. I didn't know that. Well,
that would be a good reason.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I mean, as long as those touchdowns don't go to Hunt, in the passing game or rushing. I don't know. I think Jude's got a good chance of taking this one, but if Jason comes out with the win on this one, I think he's going to lock in that number 1 seed very easily. No one else is going to take that from him for the remainder of this season, just because he's got not a cupcake finishing year, but
kind of.
Yeah. I mean, in comparison, your team is much better than others.
I think I get Elijah twice, and I get Alex once in the last. I think it's
week 12. You play out.
Yeah, I go Elijah, Alex, Elijah to end the season after I get Jude. So I do think he's got me this week. I think 25.5 points from McCaffrey in the first half doesn't bode well. I think there's a chance McCaffrey could get at least another touchdown and could put up another 50 to 100 yards. So I think he's going to have a big day. And I feel like my team is kind of just due for a lull. Like if I'm not expecting a big day from everyone like I had last week, and Gordon has gotten touchdowns. It seems like every single week, like that's gonna regress at some point. So I feel like I'm due for some coming back to reality this week. So I'm expecting Jude to take me out this week, but I do agree if I win this week, I think it may be hard, especially with Jude having basically a guaranteed loss in a couple weeks when the Chiefs go on bye. So I feel like if I can squeak one out, I think I'm a pretty solid lock for that number 1. But it's going to be close. And it all completely depends, as it does with Jude every week, how the Chiefs and how Mahomes in particular does. Like if he throws for 2 or more touchdowns, I think Jude has me. I think if for some reason Arizona can hold him to 0-1, I got a chance. But I don't like my chances this week.
I feel like regression is coming for Gordon, but not at Oakland.
I guess that's true. Yeah, he's.
I feel like 25 in the first quarter is possible against Oakland.
Yeah, I kind of wonder though, with that being such a cupcake game for the Chiefs that day, that there's a chance that they just decide to let Eckler take over the reins in the second half and give Gordon, a couple quarters off if he's still feeling anything from that hamstring. So I think there's a chance that he may not get a complete full workload, especially if they get up big early. And if he doesn't grab one of those early touchdowns, I could see him not having a huge game.
Yeah, I could see that. The talk about a dumpster fire of a team. Oakland has cashed it in for the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think is going to take that week, Jake?
Jude
or Jason?
Well, the homer in me says that Michael Thomas and Mark Ingram are going to crush Cincinnati. But I feel like the 3 I think that Jason was right about Eckler taking over, and Jude started Eckler. So, if that happens, if they're up by 30 at halftime, I think that Eckler is going to be a good play. So, I don't know. I'm more in line of having points on the board rather than a projection. So, Jude's start is very promising. So, I'd probably give the edge to him at this point just because he's got the points on the board right now.
Yep. I agree. All right, which comes to Zach and Phil. Zach sitting at 3-6. Phil is 5-4. Phil kind of in the same situation he was last year. Nothing super spectacular, although I think he was the leading scorer last year. But just, when he lost, he lost. Otherwise, they must have been close matches because I don't know how you can be the leading scorer and just sneak into playoffs. But yeah, Zach has his own pick, so if he tanks, which he said he's kind of looking to do, he doesn't really care because he's going to get a lottery choice or a lottery chance at that 1.01. Plus, he holds Alex's pick, so if Alex can keep losing, he's happy there. But I mean, I think Phil takes this one pretty handedly. I really don't think there's any question to it. Looking at the matchup itself, Zach's projected to get 79 points. He's currently not starting at tight end. Does he even have a tight end? I don't think he has a tight end. Yeah, he has. He traded for Kirk Cousins and
Traded for, yeah, he moved Jimmy Graham, right? Is that who his tight end was?
Adam moved Graham.
Adam moved Graham. So he doesn't. He's sitting on all of his tight ends are on bye. So I think he's looking to take an L on this one.
Yep. Yeah. So Zach's gonna lose this week. Phil's gonna win. I don't think we need to talk more about that matchup.
Does he legitimately have 5 Vikings players? That is.
I think so. He has. Yeah, he's got Kyle Rudolph, Kirk Cousins, Stefon Diggs, Laquan Treadwell, and Dalvin Cook. 5 Vikings.
And if he
the only difference is.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, the only difference is the Vikings are not Kansas City, so that was a terrible.
I feel like rostering Laquan Treadwell is what I was talking about 2 to 3 players on every roster that could just be dropped immediately.
Oh, absolutely. Every team's got a couple guys that they could easily drop, but it just depends on what you're looking for. I mean, there's a lot of different people that want to hold because they think they might help them in the future and whatnot, but I don't know.
Can seriously think Laquan Treadwell is going to help. It just can't.
I mean, if he gets traded to the Patriots and learns how to play football, I think he could be good.
Well, that's a lot of ifs. But
well, yeah, especially since trade deadline's done.
Zach holding Laquan Treadwell is probably one of the reasons that he's 3-6 and not 6-3. So,
yeah.
I do think one thing that's kind of interesting looking forward towards Phil's schedule and towards the playoffs is this idea. I'd read an article a couple weeks ago about the potential of the Rams being so far ahead in terms of where they are getting a division title early in the season and potentially locking up weeks by week 14 or 15, because they're sitting at 8-1 now, I think, or 7-1. That there's a chance that they may be resting Gurley and other starters by those last 2 weeks of the season. And so I think, especially with Phil being in the position that if he wins this year, he takes home a pot of what, Ben? Is it $1,500 right now? Is that where we're at? $1,200?
Yep.
$1,200. So if you're Phil and you know that your season basically lives and dies on Todd Gurley, like if Todd Gurley sits week 16, it's almost a for sure automatic lock for Phil, and he's going home with nothing.
That is why I have Malcolm Brown on my roster.
For sure. There's a chance that he's a RB1 in week 16. But the question, like if you're Phil, are you at all thinking of low-key shopping Todd Gurley for an equal level? Like if you could go get Saquon Barkley plus something a little more, like could you get Saquon Barkley in like 2 seconds, or like Alvin Kamara and something else? If you're Phil, would you do that on the chance that you're a little bit worried and you're kind of playing so much for this year, or do you just cross your fingers and ride it out? And even if you lose this year, you got Gurley for the next 3 or 4 years at a minimum, producing at a high level.
I'll let Jake answer first if he wants.
I cross my fingers, and I do that with more confidence today than before last weekend, when with New Orleans beating LA. Now, breaker. If they both end with 1 loss, the road to the Super Bowl goes through the Superdome, and I don't think LA wants to go back there.
Yeah,
that's a tough place to win, and it's a really tough place to win in the playoffs. I think that Sean McVay knows that, and I think that they rested last year, and then Atlanta came to town and did what they did. So I mean, I feel like week 17 might be a rest. I think week 16 would be early for them this year. I heard that too, and it's an interesting theory, but if I'm the Gurley owner, I'm holding them.
Yeah. I think with Phil's roster, and just his overall makeup. I think if I were to do anything, I would probably reach out to Adam and try to trade Gurley for Connor and Cooks. I think that's the only combination of players that I'd want to take because I know Jared's not going to give a lot. He's not going to give Kamara or Hunt plus for Gurley, especially since, you know, Kamara's number 2, Hunt's number 4. Sure, Gurley's number 1, but I know Jared well enough where I don't think he would. I don't think he'd send a package to get Gurley, especially being out of contention or mostly out of contention for playoffs. He has no reason to send a big package of players for one guy when he's got 2 studs on his roster already. But I think Connor and Cooks are the only 2 guys I would try to go after if I would do it, just because that keeps him with a good running back, and then it upgrades his flex situation a little bit because Calvin Ridley isn't a surefire flex guy. Well, I mean, I guess he's a flex player, but he's not a surefire starter where Cooks, you can put him in and you know you're going to start him every week.
Yeah, well, that's tough. I mean, the quote-unquote flex when you're talking about playing like a person like in a normal week, like when you're playing Zach or anyone else. But when you're starting to look of the teams that you're probably playing in the playoffs and you're looking at the flex where, you know, Ben, you've got like AJ Green or Mike Evans sitting your flex. I've got like Julio Jones or Odell Beckham in my flex. Like you've got these people who have like this stacked positional depth where you're having elite players in that flex spot. Like that does make like you don't want to be at that significant of a disadvantage when you're looking at those type of matchups. But even with that, I think if that's the offer that Phil is getting for Gurley, I think you still hold because Gurley has that chance of. I mean, last year he put up like he averaged like almost 40 points a week in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like, that you have a that's crazy. Go ahead.
Gurley is averaging 27 fantasy points a week. Pat Mahomes is averaging 29.
Jeez.
I mean,
yeah, it's ugly.
I mean, you can't move that. That is irreplaceable. I don't care who you get.
Yeah.
So Max and Jake are facing each other. Max is 5-4. Jake is 5-4. This is another one of those. Week 10 is just exciting for our league this week. There's a lot of matchups that are going to determine what's going to happen with playoffs, essentially, or at least give us a better idea. Max is missing Thielen, which is basically, you know, his bell cow, his pride and joy, and kind of the only thing not the only thing that's been keeping him alive. AP has been doing really well, but I said in the power,
suck either.
Yeah, and like I said in the power rankings, I think this week it's going to be a race of AP and Barkley versus Breeze and Chubb. I mean, the Browns are terrible. Chubb's going to get the ball on the ground. Breeze is going to be throwing the ball a lot this week. But AP and Barkley are both going to be running on the ground, and I think AP has been getting some receptions recently, which is kind of scary as well because once he gets open and goes, I mean, that guy can run downhill better than anyone else. So sorry, Jake, but like I said, I think Max is going to take this one. Breeze doesn't play well on the road. I mean, he did against Atlanta, but for the most part, he's been a struggler when it comes to road games, and I don't know. I don't think he does it this week.
I think I'm actually going to go the other way from Ben on this one. I think Jake is actually going to pull this one out this week. I think the Jacksonville defense is going to step up, and we're going to see a flash of who they were last year. And I think they're going to have a chance to shut down Indy. And Andrew Luck might get some yardage, but I think that he may have a rough day in terms of touchdowns. I think it may be a more low-scoring week for that team. So I think that he's going to be held in check. I think all the injuries to that offensive line in Washington are going to really hurt AP going forward. I think he's going to have a tough time gaining and getting yardage in the weeks ahead. So I think he's gonna be someone who's going to be more of a detriment starting in Max's lineup the next few weeks. And then I think him not having Thielen and having to start Amendola is going to be the kicker, because there's a chance Amendola goes for like 2 catches for 10 yards. I think his ceiling is maybe 6 or 8 catches for like 60 or 70 yards and a touchdown. So his ceiling is maybe like 14 or 15 points. And I think that even though historically Brees has not been great on the road, I think Brees with Kamara and Thomas and being able to then also lean on that run game with Kamara and Ingram, I think you're going to end up with a lot of long drives and a lot of touchdown opportunities for New Orleans in that game. And so I think that you're going to see a lot of opportunities for scoring there. And I think Chubb and Ertz and Michelle are all going to come through this week. And I think that Pittsburgh Steelers defense putting up that 15 points early they're at right now, if that holds and they're able to keep that as a double-digit start there for the week for Jake, I think that it sets him up in a good way. And I think he's going to kind of pull up that upside and probably cement himself that spot in the playoffs. And that's what I think.
Yeah, I don't know what to think.
I'm going to toss this out here real quick, Jake. I'm surprised you're not playing Deshaun Jackson with Fitzmagic going against Washington.
I'll tell you what. I'm not even 50% sold on the people that I have in my starting lineup right now. There's a very real possibility that Deshaun Jackson goes in. It would be at the expense of Allen Robinson, most likely. I think Darius Slay is a really solid corner. And again, I said earlier that I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm kind of waiting for a few of these injuries to kind of shake themselves out before I make any real decisions. I was kind of waiting to see what the Steelers defense did tonight to see if I was going to have to be chasing points or if I had a pretty decent start. I think that if Tampa Bay's defense can do anything well, it's stop runs up the middle. I think that's the one part that they're not the most terrible defense at. But I don't love some of the matchups. I think it could go either way. I think that I probably need 2 more wins to really lock up a playoff spot. 3 would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't get one this week, I think I'm really going to have to finish it out with a few of them. So I'd definitely like to get this one. And I'm also not totally ruling out putting Matt Ryan in over Brees, as much as that would kill me to do. I like that matchup against Cleveland, especially if Denzel Ward is out.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, you have
the Cincinnati defense is 29th against quarterbacks, and Drew Brees is better than the 29th quarterback. So
yeah,
I feel like he's going to do all right. You questioned me starting him last week. I think those questions were answered. I don't know. I think I've got a lot of upside. I've got my floor is kind of like it was last week, scoring about 84 points. My upside is, in the 110, 120 range. So it's a pretty big range of outcomes on this team right now.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, I mean, over your next 4 matchups after this week, you're looking at playing Alex, and there's one other guy, Monty, I think, or somebody who should be simply beat. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I like you said, I think it could go either way. It just really depends on who gets hot and who doesn't. But this week, Alex and Adam, I think we don't even have to cover this one. Adam's already miles ahead of Alex as far as points go. He's got 55.7 points between Roethlisberger, Connor, and Schuster. Alex has 8, and he's projected to get 91. Adam's not even starting a kicker. Alex is going to lose. He's going to go 4-6. Adam's going to get his 2nd win of the year. So congratulations, Adam. Let's move on.
Well said.
Okay.
Yep.
Last game of the week is going to be Jared and Monty. This one is, I think, my number 1 game of the week, which is sad to say when you're looking at a 2-7 and a 3-6 team. However, I think it's a really important game as far as playoffs. Whoever gets this win this week, I think, is going to have a really good chance of keeping a shot at playoffs. Monty obviously facing Jared this week. He plays Jake next week. Then he plays Adam. And then he plays Max. So in comparison to Jared playing, Monty, Phil, Zach, and Jude, I think Monty has the easier schedule moving forward, mostly because Jude's sitting there at the end. Phil's a coin flip. Zach's team is junk. And if Jared can beat Monty, I think he can take at least 3 out of the 4. With Monty, sorry. If Monty loses to Jared, I don't think he beats Jake either. But I think he'll take Max, and I think he could take Monty. So only getting 2 of the 4 would tie Jared and Monty up, and I think Jared might have the points differential on him. So it's going to be interesting.
In this matchup, all day, every day.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody. Kareem Hunt and Alvin Kamara are going to go absolutely hog wild.
Well, the only downfall right now, he played Funchess, who's got 2 points. So having, one of your wide receivers basically get a 0.
Yeah, Elijah McGuire could return that favor.
Yeah, which is very true. They are facing Buffalo, which is a terrible team. Monty does have the Houston Texans defense currently, who is on bye. So I don't know if Monty just doesn't want to drop anyone from his roster to pick up a defense. I mean, he's got Baker Mayfield, drop him. Corey Davis, drop him. Josh Adams, you can probably drop him.
Whoa. Hold on. Did you just say drop Corey Davis?
Yeah.
No, you can't drop Corey Davis.
Why not?
Oh, Ben, I wish that you held Corey Davis in a league that I was in with you. I wish I was in more dynasty leagues with you, and I wish you held Corey Davis because that would be amazing.
I wouldn't take Corey Davis.
He's a second-year wide receiver. You get spoiled with the Odell Beckhams and Michael Thomases that break out year 1. It's been historically in the NFL, it's been year 3, year 4 that these guys really figure it out. He's a physical freak. He's the only target in Tennessee. I get it. Mariota isn't great, but no, you don't drop Corey Davis.
I would
2 kickers is questionable.
I would move Corey Davis then. I would find a guy like you and Jason and say, hey, give me something for him and make you guys, in my eyes, overpay for a guy that I would drop. So
I don't know that I would overpay for a guy who's the wide receiver.
No. In my eyes, you would overpay.
All right.
Because if I'm willing to drop someone, if you're going to give me someone else, I'll take almost anyone else.
Oh yeah,
that's fair.
I can toss a 2nd-round pick at Monty to go get Corey Davis. I'll do that in a heartbeat. But I think he paid 1 or 2 for him in the offseason, so I don't think he's moving him for anything cheap.
Yeah.
I do think I think the thing with this Jared-Monty matchup this week is that Monty probably has, I think, the higher floor of production. I think between Fitzpatrick and Mixon. Mixon's basically the only thing in Cincinnati, so I feel like he's at least going to get the ball. He may not be very productive, but he's going to get the volume, I think. And then Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp, Edelman, I feel like he's got that ability to probably put up that floor of like 95 to 100 and 510 points, but probably that ceiling isn't there quite as much. I think Jared, again, I mean, we talked about it. He's got Kamara, he's got Hunt. Those guys could put up 50, 60, 70 points between the 2 of them. You toss Wentz on top of that. And I think
Bill's
you've got
defense against the Jets.
Yeah, but I think that, I mean, last week we saw Kenny Golladay did nothing against the Vikings, and the Bears are another good defense. There's a chance that he could get shut down again. You get Funches not doing anything for the rest of his game today, and Ebron has been a little bit of a question mark. We're not sure what his role is going to be now that Jack Doyle is back involved in Indianapolis. You got Tyler Lockett, who Wilson is passing the ball around a lot. Who knows if it could be a David Moore game? It's Lockett. If it's Baldwin, you don't know necessarily where the ball's going there. So I feel like there's a lot of question marks for Jared. But if he hits, he's gonna. There's a chance that he could lead the week in scoring. And so I I think there's a real chance that if Monty wins this week, I think he gets in and probably locks up that 8th seed. Not locks up, but I think that he's the favorite for picking up that final seed in the playoffs. I think if Jared wins, then it is a huge question mark for what happens, because I think that puts Jared in play. I think it puts Monty in play. I think Alex stays in play even if he loses this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Adam with a super outside chance. But I think if Jared wins this week, there's a chance that everything is coming down to week 13. And then last week, you're going to have 2 or 3 matchups that decide that last spot. So I think it could be a lot of fun. But I think if Monty wins this week, I think a lot of that fanfare may be over.
Well said.
Well, go Jared then.
Yeah,
I agree. Lockett's got 6 touchdowns of
And
his.
Doug Baldwin picked up a groin injury this week, so
he did.
Yeah. 6 touchdowns, 8 games. So, and I mean, even Lockett is kind of a touchdown needy player most weeks.
But the Rams are going to put up points.
Yeah, absolutely, which means
We know
they're
that.
yeah, and they're just going to throw the ball. You can't.
We also know that Marcus Peters is really good at playing cornerback. After watching him this year, I just saw he's rated at like number 106 out of 119 or that.
He's having
pitiful.
a rough year.
He's having a rough year. His eyes are glued in the backfield. Give him a pump fake and run right by him.
Yep. I like it. Well, yeah, I mean, that's all as far as matchups go this week. I think it's going to be really exciting. Like I said, week 10, we've got just way too many matchups that are going to determine where people are going to fall as far as playoffs go coming up. It has been a fast season so far. The first 9 weeks, I mean, I don't even remember. I barely remember drafting in Jake's league and getting that done. So it's been a fast season. It's going to be fun. It's going to be sad that it ends, but it always does. So
yeah.
Any closing thoughts from you guys at all? I think Jake froze.
I don't have any words of wisdom. I know that there's a lot of decisions yet to be made. I see the Steelers defense has picked up another couple of points, which is helpful. Cam Newton, I tell you what, when he throws a pick 6, he's just money in the bank for the defense the rest of the game. I love me some Cam Newton. No, it should be a fun week. A lot of playoff implications down to the end, which makes for a fun league. A lot of trading kind of right down to the end, which makes for a fun league.
Mm-hmm.
It's been enjoyable to be a part of, that's for sure.
Well, we're glad to have you, and I think that trade negotiations are only going to pick up over the last couple of weeks as it kind of starts to shake out of teams who are going to miss playoffs. I think that the bottom 4 teams, people are going to be reaching out to them, trying to get anything and everything they can to help themselves win. And I think a lot of those guys are going to look for future players or first-round picks. I only have 4 now, so I don't have a whole lot of leverage anymore, but I've still got more than others, which is nice. So
I think one of the things I'm still watching for is to see who Ben moves for those last 4 firsts, because I've been pretty sure all offseason long, once he got all those picks, I said there's no chance you come to the end of the season and you own more than 1 or 2 of them. So I'm real curious to see who you decide to buy with those last 4 firsts, Ben.
I'll be 100% honest. I've tried trading those firsts pretty much all year, and nobody wants all of them. I can only trade 1 at a time, it seems like. People are like, nope, just give me 1. Nope, I don't want 3 firsts for this guy. Just give me 1 for this other guy. And it's like, all right, that's fine. Like, I'll give away a first-round pick for Coleman. That's okay. I'll give away a first-round pick for a healthy tight end that, Luck likes to throw to. So I've got 4 more, and hopefully Monty misses playoffs, so that pick just gets more valuable, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I've had a distinct lack of offers, including any of those first-round picks, so I don't know.
Um, Yeah.
You settled for Jack Doyle. You never even offered for Zach Ertz. I don't even understand where your head's at here, Ben.
well, you and I have had enough conversations where I'm like, okay, I know if I'm gonna want Ertz, let me see what our conversation was. But it was basically, I'm gonna need an offer that surprises me, and obviously not an offer that you would surprise and be like, wow, I'm embarrassed that you would offer me that, but
Well, I never specified, so maybe.
yeah. I'm embarrassed you sent that to me. I will take the deal. Okay.
I accept.
Right.
No, I think trades are gonna pick up. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm interested to see. I've never been in a league that allowed the trade deadline to go right up to playoffs. I think that's interesting and exciting, and I'm curious to see what it looks like.
Yeah. I don't think I have any, or I don't think I'm willing to pay anything that would blow you away, is what you said. My standard answer that I have to say is I'd have to be blown away. And I don't think I'm willing to pay for that price. Not yet, at least. So,
Well, you don't know what my expectations are.
Maybe it doesn't take a lot to blow Jake away. Maybe it's real low.
I mean, I can tell you that I've had some pretty breathtaking offers thus far from various members of the league, including 6 fab for Ertz. So I was nearly blown away.
Well, it makes me feel better about my offers then.
Oh, I thought about your offer long and hard.
Yeah,
I just couldn't do it. I own Kittle in a few leagues. In my other dynasty league, I own Kittle and I love him.
Yeah.
But I've just never had Ertz, and man, is he involved.
he's fun. It's tough when you have a guy who's basically the target leader and the guy who you run an offense through that you can't. That's hard to find the right value to move that guy.
It is. Yeah. I've only had him for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
I'd probably be more likely to move him next year.
Right.
Well, gentlemen, it's been fun.
Yeah,
it has been. I think it's time to wrap her up a little bit here.
Right.
I'll get this sent out to the league, and not bad for a test run. So
that's right.
I'll be a little bit more prepared next time as far as topics and things go. But it was a good time. I think Jake already left. So
yep. So then I guess we'll say goodbye.
All right, Jason, you take care. Have a good one.
See ya.
Oh, Jake's back. You can go.
It left.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. So that is our test program of this. We went over the different weeks, or not different weeks, different matches of the weeks, gave our talks or takes, gave our input. We'll see what happens. It's going to be fun. We'll catch you next week. Take care.